Easy Street, was on Easy Street for a while. Willow's the major that he's on right now, working his way back over the 710 freeway. You mentioned that helicopter earlier on. That's going to be the one that that law enforcement or Long Beach is using right now to keep an eye on this vehicle. That helicopter obviously much lower than we are, and he might actually be able to hear or see that one. Um, on Willow. We actually just heard them, law enforcement, just talk about the fact that he is on television right now, and that this might be one of the reasons why he's actually driving a little bit slower right now. Don't know if those factors figure in, don't know how he's watching us on television, but you know what? Anything is possible, especially on these type of fluid situations. We're eastbound on Willow right now in the Long Beach area. It's just kind of a cat and mouse game. They're keeping an eye on it. Obviously, they want this guy to stop. They just want him to pull over and give up. I'm sure that the plan is that they're just going to let that vehicle come to a stop in his own time frame, and then officers will be there to take this person into custody. You saw that U-turn. Now we're going to be back westbound on Willow Street, working his way back over to the 710. Like I said, if they hand this off to the California Highway Patrol, if he gets on the freeways, things could change up quite radically very quickly. And again, we don't know the extent of the violation, except for the fact that it was a pursuit earlier on, and he did not stop for the law enforcement, which just kind of amps up any of the other reasons why they wanted to stop this guy. Right now, we're going right over the LA River, going to be back by the 710, but these middle lanes, you're probably guessing, like I am, not going to be taking any of the freeways. Westbound on Willow, working our way back over to that neighborhood we were earlier on. We did see him driving down some of those alleyways. Gosh only knows, was he guessing? Because he was pretty lucky. Made his way through those alleyways very quickly and made his way out onto this major. Passing easy right there. That was the street he was on a little bit earlier on, but continuing westbound now on Willow. This might take us out of their jurisdiction. Not sure if Long Beach is going to just keep following, or maybe they might just do, well, he's out of our city, let the helicopter handle it. But right now, still a following of a very dangerous suspect. I can tell you the reason why I'm kind of dragging it on, a major intersection coming up here. Don't know what his plan is, or her plan as it may be, that suspect's plan, because there is a lot of traffic there. Don't know if he's going to try to push his way through, or perhaps just try to blend in, or make a U-turn. Well, he's definitely in a neighborhood. I don't know if that was a school right there on 23rd Street. You can see somebody throwing out some spike strips right there. Yep. And you know what, I'm not going to stay too far away from the car, but you can see those spike strips kind of laying on their side. So not sure if it was a successful spike strip type of situation, but definitely shows you that the law enforcement is out there. I don't ever want anybody to think that any of the law enforcement on the ground are just giving up on it. They're just following from the air. It is still an active type of situation. They want this vehicle to come to a stop. I'll get you the name of the street right here. It does appear that we're moving southbound again on what I would call call a bigger street right now, east of that school that we were at earlier on. But you can tell that Long Beach PD being active in this, trying to bring this to a stop. That toss out of the spike strips may be successful, maybe not. The vehicle does seem to be still driving, but as we talked about in the past, spike strips, he was on Santa Fe, but now we're making a turn. It looks like we're heading back eastbound. Those spike strips, they don't blow the tires out. They're basically nails with holes in them that are hollowed out. That'll basically just kind of bring it to a stop. But it also shows you, though, how this is getting into a little crazy. As people with their cell phones are out there right now, basically getting themselves onto their own social media, following these things. You know, it is one of these weird areas where, you know, nobody wants you guys to do any of that. Trust me, it is a very dangerous situation. This person wanted on weapons charges, and also things can go south so quickly. And when I say south, they can go from just a slow-moving pursuit to something deadly so quickly. But it looks like we're working our way back over to PCH right now. That's going to be that intersection right there. But the most important thing is, after those spike strips were tossed out, it does seem that maybe they were laying on their sides. Look at this right there. Welcome to California. Yeah, I see you, but I'm not going to stop. And just as I mentioned, flat tire. There you go. Yep. And that's gonna change things up. This car, that tire, going to come off here pretty shortly, and then this car going to be less maneuverable, and this guy going to start giving himself less and less opportunities to do things. Front wheel drive, that Toyota Camry. My guess, probably the 4-cylinder version. So, you know, it's a solid car, don't get me wrong, but if any vehicle, when you start losing tires, you're going to start losing performance. It's going to make that car run a little rougher and a little bit more. It's going to be more difficult for it to do what this driver wants it to do. Looking out the window, I can tell you that's going to be the 710 as we're on Pacific Coast Highway, heading back into the downtown Long Beach area. Vehicle moving slower. Long Beach PD, they're definitely keeping an eye on it. As that tire comes apart, it's starting to bang against that plastic bumper, so parts of the car coming apart as well. So we're going to keep an eye on it. Maybe the car will give up before the driver does. Oops, turning. Front passenger. There goes the tire. Alleyway. North of 14th off of Chadswick. North of 14th. I'm sorry. Guys, go ahead. I was just calling out where we are. We were on Chadswick. There we go. Seems like it may be coming to a stop. I don't know if he's backing up because there is a blockage, or maybe he's finding something else. Oh, there's an officer at the end of the street right there. So doesn't like that. Yeah, he doesn't like that, so he's backing up right now. Now they're going to block him in this alleyway. That seems to be the plan. There we go, another undercover unit. So now he's kind of got to up there. He found another alleyway and another officer right there. Looks like there might have been a collision. We're going to move Sky 9 and 2 helicopter around here just real quick, but it does seem like this coming to an end. The Long Beach officers out there doing the right thing. Bringing this thing to an end, but it does look like he really made a collision right there, helping that suspect to the ground, and they are taking him into custody, but no shots were fired in the end. That officer's, he was blocking him in. They got into a little bit of an accident right there. Looks like his car took most of the brunt of it, but right now, that suspect in custody. This looks like we're going to be on near 14th Street, in an alleyway near 14th Street, near Chadwick. That suspect now in custody. That's how it always ends. Usually very quickly, they'll just come to an end. Those people, the suspects, just want to run. And it looked like he tried to get out and run, but there was a number of officers right there. And you can see people out here in the area, probably Channel 2 and Channel 9 watchers. They probably knew it was coming, out there on their balcony watching what was going on as this thing came to an end out here in this alleyway off of near 14th and Chadwick. That suspect in custody, no officers injured, suspect not injured, and definitely no shots were fired. Long Beach PD doing it the right way. They kept an eye on this thing and just let this suspect bring itself to an end. Definitely. And, that car, it took a pretty good hit, but it shows you how those officers' vehicles are reinforced. They have those push bumpers on the front there. That vehicle, basically took it pretty well and didn't move, but that suspect's vehicle very damaged, and that's what they kind of hoped for in something like this. If it would have just been him and he tried to back up, that car wouldn't have made it too far down the road. Their tactics out here this afternoon, interesting to watch how they're keeping the public safe, keeping that helicopter above, the law enforcement nearby. And in the end, it did. It brought this suspect into a situation where he boxed himself in, and he brought it to an end himself. And that's what law enforcement wants. Obviously, nobody injured. And again, this coming to an end out here in Long Beach. Simon Desk, you do have a thirsty helicopter. And I don't know if we're on the internet. I'm guessing we are, but maybe they were streaming us earlier on with the show. Okay, yeah, I just wanted to say sorry to anybody on the internet for cutting into Judge Judy. I know that some of the viewers disapprove of that. Go ahead, Assignment Desk, go ahead. Oh, copy, that's awesome. Everybody enjoys us landing. Our airport of our choosing. I wonder what do they have an airport in Maui? In Maui. Beautiful in Paris. All right, we're clear to Long Beach. Hey,